Goodbye, Charleston City Marina. We got like 20 knots of wind. It's crazy. Can't go too fast because there's a bridge up here that doesn't open until 9:30, and we need to kill some time. So we're going slow, going through the first bridge. Good morning. It's Tuesday morning. We left Charleston.
Good morning.
And we're waiting for a bridge to open. So we thought we'd tell you about our experience in Charleston. Right, Lee?
What was it like, Chris?
Well, we got to Charleston. We're glad we did because there was a big blow coming, that storm. They put us on the outside of the mega dock, and it was rough. We were glad we were on the dock. However, it was very rough overnight, and yeah.
It was terrible.
It was terrible. So
it was like being out in the ocean.
Yeah. I mean, we were glad we were in Charleston. Charleston's a beautiful city. We've been there before. But yeah, we were kind of glad to leave. Now we're going down the ICW. So our pictures of Charleston don't really show how rough it really was, but it was rough and very windy. And when we left the dock, it was 20 knots of wind. So we're glad to be going down the ICW. We're hoping that the wind and the rain doesn't affect the bridges and the depth a whole lot, because we need to be able to get underneath the bridges. So, and also that there's not too many shallow spots. So here we go. The ICW is like a highway. We got a whole line of boats behind us waiting to go through the bridge too. I'll watch them, Lee. Get a pick of the other route. As we entered Wapo Creek, we had like a 3-knot tide against us, which made it very difficult. So we have 27 knots of wind out in this river. Can't imagine what the ocean would be like, but this is crazy.
Some of the areas that we went in, it was hard to trust our charts, especially when we were getting conflicting information. Our new information told us to go this route, which took us over what looked like land.
So, after it looked like we went over land on the charts, we dealt with a lot more after that. What happened, Lee?
Well, there was areas that I knew up ahead was going to be a problem. These areas were going to be very shallow, especially if we hit them at the wrong time. Because of our waiting for that bridge to open in Charleston, our timing was off. And so we hit some areas of about 2 miles of very shallow areas for us to go through. And those shallows were, according to our charts, were going to be at a minimum of what we were going to be able to get through.
Okay, so Lee, how much depth do we need for the keel of our sailboat to go through so we don't get stuck?
Well, our keel is supposed to be about 5 feet 9 inches below the water. So we need 5 feet 9 inches to keep floating.
Okay, and not get stuck in mud or sand or something else.
Right.
Okay. So Lee told me that the part we were coming up to next in the river was going to be a little scary. And why is that?
Well, since we need 5'9", and the charts were showing that at low tide it was going to be 5 feet. As we were going through here, we were only an hour ahead of low tide. And that meant that we had to get through this fast. Well, so as we progressed through here, the tide, our sonar depth was showing that we did not have that depth. And I would say that half the time we were probably plowing through mud. Our keel was probably plowing through mud and getting through this. Until we got to the other side of this like 2-mile area, it was touch and go as far as whether we would be spending at least the next 6 hours sitting in this mud, or whether until the tide rose again, or whether we would make it through the other side.
And the other thing that happened that made it even more nerve-wracking is there was a sailboat in front of us that was actually called No Hurries. And he was going pretty slow.
No hurry.
In no hurry. And the problem was the longer we took, the more the water receded, the more shallow it got, and the more chance we had of being stuck
in the mud.
And if he got stuck in front of us, we were stuck too. So needless to say, I was in the back of the boat praying intensely that we would get through this area. And we did, but afterwards our nerves were frayed.
And so when we both got through, this other sailboat and ourselves, because he was going so slow, I was watching the tide actually go down while he was going through, and there was nowhere to pass. So after we both got through here, we talked on the radio and we said, after that we can't take another one. So we went about a mile up down the river and found a place to anchor for the night.
And what do you mean by another one?
Well, there was another really low spot, which was supposed to be worse than the one we just went through. And we decided we're just going to anchor for the night and wait for higher tide the next day.
And the next morning there was higher tide, and it was not an anxiety-filled morning, let me tell you. It was so much better. Well, thank you, Captain Lee, for explaining what happened. After our stressful day with the shallows, we were so relieved to just drop the anchor down and find an anchorage that was calmer. Morning, Lee.
Morning!
It's a cold one.
Oh my goodness, is it cold?
How cold is it?
I don't know, 34, 5, something like that.
In South Carolina? Okay, it is Wednesday morning. We lifted the anchor up. It was a cold one. And here we go. Another fun-filled, exciting day in the shallows. Handy propane heater to keep our feet warm on this chilly morning. And some oatmeal too. We only had about a 3-hour trip to get to Beaufort. However, it was so much easier now that the tides were higher and we didn't have to worry about the shallows. We stayed at Lady Island Marina, which was a really great marina with floating docks and free bikes for us to use, and also a car for free that we could use. Just like the areas we just went through, this marina had just as much tide difference also. We had up to 6 feet of tide difference on the way down to this marina.
I'm doing great. We had a great day here in Beaufort, South Carolina.
Beaufort? Why Beaufort?
Well, it's not Beaufort. It's Beaufort.
Why?
Because why? Well, they say it's because it's beautiful.
Okay,
Beautiful
good.
Beaufort.